What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome in. DFS Army MLB pre-lock show. Razzle and Tattoo here for you. 12 game slate, I believe.
I do believe.
Slight rain issues in St. Louis, from my understanding. Probably something to pay attention to, considering we probably want to play some Braves bats and maybe even use some Chris Sale. But we'll get into that as we go. How are you doing today, Tattoo?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. Huge slate tonight, and I'll tell you that I was not running out of space, but like it was so many batters I wanted to list tonight.
There are quite a few batters, and surprisingly, like, it's not just full of household names either. I was kind of looking at the overview of my cheat sheet, and it's a lot of names that I don't necessarily play on a daily basis, or I shouldn't say don't play because I play close to everybody, but they're not. It's guys that I'm not used to prioritizing, which I'm doing tonight. And we'll kind of see when we switch over to hitters. The ownership on stacks and teams is very spread out tonight, like very. So
I'm still trying to
definitely
figure out
interesting.
the Athletics on the leverage stacks. I mean, I could be losing my mind.
I don't see them either.
Like I've looked up and down that list 10 times. And I'm like, even if you go to team, they aren't listed. You know,
They aren't. We're gonna get somebody working on that. Let's see. 1 second here while I. But I guess we can talk about pitching while we wait on that. Shohei Ohtani was scratched tonight, at least as a pitcher, but I assume he's just scratched in general. Doesn't matter as a hitter because the sites won't be able to adjust and make him usable as a hitter, unless they're just going to make you pay $10K for him or whatever his pitcher price was. And if they do that, do not play Shohei Ohtani. Overall pitching, though, like, I don't know. I just dropped my video an hour ago or so, maybe 45 minutes ago. I think tonight's slate's filled with more guys that I'm hesitant but willing to play. Very few that I felt slam dunk options for me to at least include in my pool. What are your overview on, or just overall pitching options?
well, it looks like the DS just finally removed Ohtani. So yeah, the ownership looks like Sale and McLean took a bunch, but Robbie Ray moved up. Yeah, pitching. I had trouble making a list. I think I only ended up listing 5 people.
I have not listed anybody yet because I'm trying to finalize it. But I can make a case for, say, 12 pitchers probably this evening. And that comes from the fact that, like, what are you going to do with pitching in the Chicago Cub game, Chicago and the Reds in Cincinnati?
I don't think I'm going to probably have either of them.
I mean, I want to play Hunter Green because his ceiling is massive.
Yeah.
He gave up a bunch of runs in his first start. I get that, but that came with 7 strikeouts in 30+ innings too. So it's not like he was just absolutely atrocious. It's just when I guess command probably was just off. When he missed slightly, he was getting hit. When he didn't miss, like he was picking up strikeouts. I think I have to play Hunter Green, and I'm not playing Shota because in a home run park, I just can't trust Shota and Imanaga. I mean, plus the Reds have an team ISO of almost 200 against left-handed pitching.
Yeah. And Green was somebody I originally listed, and then I took off, but I think I'm going to add him back. And I originally had Brandon Young, but took him off. But I'll tell you that.
What's that?
I was just going to say Sonny Gray, I think, is my favorite pitcher.
I like Sonny Gray. I don't think he's my favorite because the Mets lineup is woken up a little bit. And I don't flight issue.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw, but Boston was still in Chicago this afternoon because of flight issues or whatever. So they're basically going to be landing in New York and going straight to the ballpark and all that. I don't know if Sonny Gray was on the road with them. So there's a lot of times starting pitching travels ahead of the team. So like Sonny Gray could be fine. There's just still some thoughts. I mean, I like Sonny Gray, and the fact that he's only 11% projected to be owned on DK probably makes him somebody I should be pretty interested in. I think my favorite pitcher is Nolan McLean. The problem is the field is now caught up to that, and I hate it. Like chalky Nolan McLean has not been good, Nolan McLean. But, you know, I'm also a big fan of Zebby Matthews tonight. The Elite K matchup. Now, going back to Shota, like I get the Cincinnati Reds strike out more than any team in baseball on a per-game basis. But the trade-off is the power that comes in that ballpark, and he's a fly ball type guy. I just not something that I want to be on. I mean, Robbie Ray probably makes a ton of sense, but it's not like he's some lock to just put up 25. His strikeouts have been down a bit, and walk issues can be a thing. Now, I can't contradict myself because I do like left-handed pitching against Colorado. Like that's been the one thing that I've really relied on. So I have to play Robbie Ray. But seeing Nolan McLean and Robbie Ray combined for nearly 56% ownership on DK tonight, that does worry me a bit. You mentioned Brandon Young. I did debate him. Like internally debated him, thought about him on the pitcher video. I just don't think it's a spot for him. I actually like the pitcher opposite him in that game. Luinder Avila at 0.16% ownership has been really good on the road. His issues have been at home. Now, pitching in Baltimore isn't the greatest thing to target, but I think you can get away targeting pitching against Baltimore in certain spots. And I would rather use him than Brandon Young on the other side. Did you consider him at all since you're an O's fan?
Not on FanDuel, but definitely on DK.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't use him on FanDuel at all. What are your thoughts on Nick Martinez? That's another name that I'm going back and forth on.
I didn't really get there. When I was looking at a lot of his projections, like he's projected less than 4 Ks. You know, it was nothing there really for me to need to go there.
Yeah, that's kind of the spot for me to be in that I don't know what to do. Seattle provides him K upside, but he's not a strikeout guy, and his K numbers have gotten worse as the season progressed. He was just named an AL replacement for All Star, so like I don't know if he's got that hype coming into it. You don't really know where guys' mentalities are right now going into the All Star break. I will tell you that I think I'd prefer him over Brandon Young in a similar price range, but I don't know if I'm going to get to Nick Martinez because I don't know if he has the upside we want on a 12-game slate. Let's look at the chat. I see a bunch of pitching names being brought up in chat. So Drago's on Imanaga, which scares me, I guess, because Drago seems to just pick out some random dude that puts up 25 on DK.
Hey, what about Sean Burke?
It's Sean Burke I'll definitely get to. You can't get us to Leahy. I'm not on Leahy tonight. I don't really want to chase his 2 starts. Or is it 2 out of the last 3 or the last 2? I don't know. Plus the rain. It was the last 2 for sure. 3 in a row, decent. But I also think he's gotten a little bit lucky because he's able to put up those fantasy points while also throwing 85, 87, and 77 pitches. And Atlanta is dangerous enough, especially with the way that Matt Olson is swinging the bat. Michael Harris, Matt Olson, Yaz as well. I just don't think I need to pick on Atlanta with a guy like Leahy. Atlanta's 7th fewest strikeouts in all of baseball. I just don't really think I want to chase, a start against the Cubs with, I'm guessing, the wind probably blowing in. I don't know. I don't remember for sure. Against Miami, against a struggling Arizona squad. Especially because they come with walks and not a lot of strikeout upside. He has to stay super clean for his numbers to get there because he's not offsetting those base hits with strikeouts. You said Sean Burke. DJ Pageant said Sean Burke. I am definitely on the Sean Burke train. In fact, I would almost be interested in Sean Burke at 30% for myself instead of 16% on DK. I don't know what his projection is on FanDuel, but I would assume it's probably in the 5 to 8 range without knowing his price point.
I was looking at something else. Who was that again?
Sean Burke. What
he's 9,000 on FanDuel.
What's his ownership projection? Do you know?
6.
Yeah.
FanDuel is like
he's somebody I'm definitely interested in.
Sale 20, McLean 16, Robbie Ray 10, Sandy 9, and then it's just like Green, Messick, Brown like 7, 6, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 3. I mean,
there are guys at the top of the list price wise. Are you playing pending a weather update in St. Louis? Are you interested in Chris Sale?
Yeah. I guess I'm expecting some, if this even makes sense, but like positive regression with him because he's had some, underwhelming games recently.
Yeah. I wonder why the strikeouts fell off a cliff last game.
Yeah. Like on FanDuel, he scored 21 last game, but he did have a 49 in San Francisco. Then, 38, a 29, a 26, a 39. But then you go back, that's when he was 52, 46, 61, 55, 49. So I'm hoping for, to kind of turn back into that Chris Sale.
I mean, I obviously worry about the weather in St. Louis, and we need timing information.
Yeah.
Because if rain hits the ballpark in like the third inning, I'm pretty sure Chris Sale is done. But I mean, I don't mind Chris Sale. I don't think I'm making him a priority, even if the rain clears up. But he's probably a better option than two of the other spend ups that I'm looking at in Hunter Brown and Parker Messick. Obviously, $1,500 difference between Chris Sale and Parker Messick, but Messick is, $9K plus. So he's like the third most expensive pitcher on the DK slate now without Ohtani.
Yeah.
So like, is Messick somebody you're considering going into Miami?
Yeah. Most definitely. Sorry, I was just looking at the weather for the Braves game, which doesn't look great.
I don't know what to do with Parker Messick. Marlins aren't striking out, and they're scoring a bunch of runs recently. I just don't know what to do.
Yeah, I was just going back and looking at my note. To me, I put that he's just like just a deep GPP kind of guy. Like, we know he can put up a 50, but we just haven't seen
his numbers on the road are strong, even though he gives up a lot more home runs on the road. But he also hasn't been super clean over the last month.
Yeah.
And his strikeouts have come down the last couple. Really, his strikeouts were just jumped up for 2 starts over that, and then the other 5 starts around that have been down 5 or less. So I don't know. I just don't know what to do with Parker. Like, I initially figured he was going to be the spend up that I was for sure going to fade, and then sprinkle in like Hunter Brown, even though Hunter Brown scares me. But we should see some positive turnaround wise for Hunter Brown. Like he's not that bad of a pitcher. He has to get his walks figured out and then get the strikeout numbers back. His first start off of the IL, being on there for 2.5 months, was strong with 21 DK points, but then he has 18 combined over the last 3 starts. I don't know. I think I'm gonna play Hunter Brown, but I wouldn't blame people for not playing him because I don't know what's going on with him, if he's just that rusty or what's up.
Yeah.
But at some point it has to turn around, doesn't it?
You would think so. I just wanted to Texas. I mean, nobody has above a 750 OPS over the last week on Texas. Well, and Josh Young, 750, but that's only 8 plate appearances. Berger's at 650, who does have good history there, but it's just the Texas team makes him more appealing.
Yeah, I've definitely been using pitching against Texas recently. Mixed results. Reed Detmers looked terrible last night, but I think I just have to rely on who Hunter Brown is as a pitcher and believe that he's going to turn it around a little bit. So I like him more than Messick, even though Hunter Brown's projection is pretty low. So there's just a lot of names to debate, and there's very few names to just for sure say yes to. I guess I shouldn't say very few. There's a handful. because we're playing Nolan McLean. We're going to play Robbie Ray. We will play Chris Sale unless the weather says no. Sandy Alcantara makes a ton of sense pitching at home against that Cleveland lineup. Sean Burke for sure. Zebby Matthews for sure. And Sonny Gray for sure, since the way that he's pitched this season. So I guess there's more for sure's than I thought. There's just then a bunch of names that you're like, do I say yes to or not?
Yeah.
So I guess I wouldn't blame people for eliminating anybody else.
I know it's an absolutely huge slate, but would you consider McLean and Gray together?
Yeah. I think so. I'm not. I mean, I'm one of the few that just really don't worry about that at all. Obviously, bigger slate means it's more likely that people are able to pinpoint two pitchers with W's, so it kind of hurts it a little bit more. But there's still a chance that only three other starting pitchers get W's on the slate. And if it's McLean, if it's Sale, if it's Hunter Brown, like now all of a sudden, like that's a huge price difference than what Sonny Gray is.
Yeah.
So you're not getting like McLean and Chris Sale together with the same stack that you're getting McLean and Sonny Gray with. So it might not make a difference. Really, it comes down to like if anybody around those price ranges then get W's too, of the one pitcher that doesn't. So, that there's a trade-off there for sure on a 12-game slate, but I still haven't found a reason to be anti that, style of build. Do you have anything else to add for pitching, or can we move on to hitters at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. Move on to hitters.
All right. Jump over to the leverage tab here. Those I should look into. I haven't got any update on the A's. What's that?
They're on there now.
Are they?
Yeah.
I have to refresh. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay.
Man, look at that. Like, every single team is in green except for the Cubs, Dodgers, and I guess kind of the Orioles in average salary. Like, everybody is in the threes.
Yeah, Dodgers are just massively expensive. But I wonder if that takes into account. I almost want to believe that that's including Shohei's 10K pitcher price point. In fact, I'm going to look because that's a massive jump. Because they're most likely to have, like Miguel Rojas at 2,600, Edmund 4,400. Like that average price point is more than what Max Muncy's price point is. Yeah, it has to include it because Betts is 5,200, Pages is 5,400. So it just has to be Ohtani's 11K price tag mixed in. So that's going to mess with things. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that adjusted because that's going to change the point per dollar thing too. But still, I mean, all the other stuff is very green for the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we're looking for across the board. Recent update skyrockets Baltimore and Kansas City as 1 and 2. So I'm really liking my Luinder Avila sneaky inclusion in my pitcher pool with Baltimore that chalky. Now, I will say Baltimore was my initial hand-built stack when I first looked at the slate this morning. So it's not like I'm anti-Baltimore. Or that game, or I think it was Baltimore with Cincinnati or something. I don't remember now. Probably should look, but
like Baltimore is making me more look forward to hockey season. Like I am so disgusted with Baltimore.
yeah, but what are you going to do after Edmonton trades McDavid?
They're not
Trading him to
Dallas.
the New York Rangers. Dallas can't afford him. Dallas can't even afford to sign Jason Robertson. So what does that tell you? But yeah, man.
Yeah, Baltimore chalk. It makes me. I want to say easy to fade, and if I'm wrong, I'll be happy on the inside.
Yeah, I mean that implied run total is pretty strong. Feels like too aggressive, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something about Avila that I'm missing. But I can tell you that Baltimore's not going to be a top tier stack for me. No. I haven't done my tiers yet either. Like I'm kind of behind on my notes, but I don't really know who's for sure going to be in the top tier, but I will tell you it's not going to be Baltimore based on what I'm seeing.
I'll tell you, it's the White Sox.
I mean, I can definitely understand that. I just don't know what the White Sox or the Athletics are going to do at pitching. Yeah. I don't know if Lopez is going 2 innings or if he's going to go 4 or 5 and do whatever he can, because the recent White Sox team against left-handed pitching has been bad. Like even Vargas is struggling more against lefties. Like a couple weeks ago, Vargas's OPS was nearing 1,200 against lefties. It's now, it might be just under 1,000. It's right around 1,000, but or are they just going to have him go 2 and then Savali? Like I would like the White Sox a ton if you told me Lopez was only going 2 and then Savali was expected to be a long guy. But I also do think the A's bullpen isn't strong enough either, so I can understand the White Sox.
Murakami.
Yeah, Murakami was back. I didn't see what he did in his rehab stuff yet, but I think Cincinnati's probably going to be my top stack.
I love like Sal Stewart and Steer today.
I love Spencer Steer, probably one of my favorite bats. Ellie against left-handed pitching, been explosive. You get Sal Stewart. Suarez, even though he's been gross much of the year.
If I remember from looking last night, it was something.
Suarez has but Imanaga too, I think. But
like Ellie was like 0 for 10 or something versus.
Yeah, I saw that. But I feel like prior to this year, Ellie was pretty bad against left-handed pitching. This year he's hitting left-handed pitching really, really well. Like an OPS over 1,100 or something like that. Makes a pretty big difference. But, yeah, I'm just going to go with Cincinnati. I'm going to live with it because Drago wants to play Imanaga, so I'm going to play Cincinnati as my number 1.
Probably safe.
I think I don't really know who I want as my number 2 stack. Now that I think back to what I was going to do, I think it might be Minnesota.
I think Houston offers a nice 2-man. Like even if you wanted to go like Yanner Diaz and Christian Walker, Yeah,
I mean, I think Houston's probably a stronger mini stack team, but
I don't think I have any interest in 5-man.
I mean, I'm going to end up 5-manning them because as I look at it, like I understand why most of the ownership tonight is spread out. because there really isn't spots that I want to just go massively overweight on. Like I kind of want San Diego against Bieber the way that he's pitched, but like, do I really want to be overweight on San Diego when I've tried to do that recently without a lot of success? I thought I'd be super high on Tampa Bay, but they might be better as a mini stack right now with the way that they're swinging it. Atlanta versus St. Louis or against Leahy. Definitely love Matt Olson tonight, but probably feels better as a mini stack. I mean, maybe I keep falling in love with Miami the way that they've performed, and I just stacked them against Messick. Doesn't feel like the smart move, but I don't. Eduardo Rodriguez has been solid against the Dodgers in 2 starts this year. Like, is this the time the Dodgers get to him?
Well, they definitely have some history.
Yeah, like, a couple guys do.
Freeman 10 for 20. And I think it was Teoscar, like 3 home runs off of him.
Yeah, I mean, a couple guys do, but
yeah,
I think a lot of that must have been before this year because he's been.
Yeah,
I just don't know because that same token I mentioned it on my pitching video on the road wise. Eduardo Rodriguez is due for some negative regression from a runs allowed standpoint. He's rocking an ERA of 2.83 on the road, but that's coming with a whip of 1.5 and an average against of over 250. So I think he's been kind of getting lucky on the road. And if anybody's going to see immediate regression, it could be him against a team like the Dodgers. So I kind of feel like the Dodgers have to be, in a at least top tier consideration. And if they're not going to be your top tier, they have to be in your second tier.
Yeah.
Because of everything. Are you interested in any teams near the bottom of these percentage rankings? I mean, I obviously am because I'm playing Miami. Aside from them, like, do any other teams stand out for you?
I know they've been struggling a little bit recently, and I'm high on Burke, but I do like the A's some. And I mean, San Diego, they're down there 33%. I could get behind 2-man or something like that. Who is pitching for the Dodgers?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bullpen game.
Let's see. Probably the lowest that I could get behind, strangely, is Colorado. As much as they suck against lefties, and
yeah, I don't know what to do with Colorado. I really don't.
But I mean, it's a couple guys with. I mean, a couple guys have good history, but you also have to take into consideration that some of those games could be in Coors.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's one scenario where I would almost have to think most of those positive games were in Coors because the other option is in San Francisco. And that's a lot tougher. Obviously, like Colorado, like people keep overlooking Colorado. I've mentioned it a few times. Colorado is tied for 6th in all of baseball in runs scored with the Minnesota Twins. Colorado is 4th in baseball in team OPS. Colorado is 4th in baseball in team slugging percentage. I mean, you think Colorado being 4th in slugging percentage is crazy? Right. San Francisco Giants are 5th in slugging percentage, ahead of the New York Yankees and Atlanta Braves. So, like, the Rockies score runs, and they do it with a bunch of extra base hits. They're fourth in triples, second in doubles. They're middle of the pack, 17th in home runs, but a lot of extra base hits for the Rockies. It comes with a decent amount of swing and miss and strikeouts, but the Rockies' offense isn't the problem for the Rockies. It's their pitching staff is terrible.
Yeah.
I probably want to play some of them. I'm going to play Miami. I am debating Boston because, like I mentioned in pitching, chalky Nolan McLean scares me, but I don't love the fact that the whole travel issues. Just don't like that at all. Because it's roughly a 2-hour flight, plus then you lose an hour time-wise going from Central Time Zone to the East. Like, I get it, they travel a lot, but like any small thing makes a difference. So I don't know. They could come in and I could be sounding like a complete moron because Nolan McLean just falls apart, and certainly possible, but add in that they're missing Wilson Contreras for suspension, and I think I feel better about not playing Boston. I've played them way too much recently as it is, so
Wilson Contreras is a numbnut.
He is, but he continually just has an OPS over 1,000. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's an incredible baseball player.
Every single week, somehow it's over 1,000. I don't get it.
Yes.
Which offense near the top are you most willing to fade completely?
Baltimore.
Probably should have known that already. I don't really know who it is.
The Cubs, the Cubs are right there. Kansas City, I trust maybe Brandon Young to keep it under control. I mean, not, getting bombed.
Yeah, I think Kansas City might be the answer, even though they've been one of the hotter teams offensively. At least they have a handful of dudes that have OPSs like 1,100 plus over the last week. Yeah.
I like, if you say it's Baltimore, Kansas City, Chicago, I like Cincinnati, White Sox, and Minnesota better than those three.
I would agree. I would probably say the same thing. I mean, I for sure like Cincinnati and Minnesota better than those three. I probably should like the White Sox. I think you have to like the Dodgers more than those three.
Yeah.
Going down the list. But yeah, it's nice to see. I mean, the recent updates, it's not as spread out as it was. When I first opened the leverage stack page before getting on the show, Baltimore or Kansas City was at the top at like 88%. So there's been some adjustments, but it's still fairly spread out, which is good to see on a 12-game slate. We don't want everything to be centralized in one spot. I mean, it technically is centralized into one game because Baltimore against Kansas City, but I don't know. It does feel like one where you could just try to fade that game completely, get different that way, and probably be okay. But how about we jump in and get your favorites by position, then I'll share mine. You can share some dongs. We can get out of here so that we can get finishing our stuff.
Let's see. For catcher, it really might. And I see, because I wrote for FanDuel where I don't have to prioritize any catchers necessarily. But it may be Yanner Diaz. He's 3 for 6 with a home run off Quantrill. First base, so many. It's hard not to like Freddie Freeman. I mean, 10 for 20. But I like Christian Walker, 8 for 18, 2 home runs, off of Quantrill. Second base, I think I'll let you keep your guy, so I'll steal your other guy, Cody Clemens. Third base, I mean, he's junior. I kind of like Otto Lopez at shortstop, just 1385 OPS over the last week. Xander's been doing a lot better. Outfield, so many people. Teoscar has got 3 home runs and 28 at bats, hitting 357 off Erod. I like Gavin Sheets. And I like Suzuki too. So
yeah, Seiya's got a pretty strong history. Catcher for me is a lot of guys, actually. I know I talk about fading Baltimore as a stack, but I really like Samuel Basayo. You mentioned Yanner Diaz. Hunter Goodman, 7 for 13 against Robbie Ray as well. First base, it's Matt Olson for me, and then either Christian Walker or Josh Bell, somebody that I don't mention very often. Second base, yeah, Cody Clemens is obviously the guy for me at the top. If I'm spending down, it's going to be Miguel Rojas for the Dodgers. 7 for 10 against Eduardo Rodriguez. So getting a cheap bat within that Dodger lineup tonight feels pretty good to me. Third base, yeah, J-Cam's just phenomenal. Otherwise, it's Sal Stewart. Shortstop, love Otto Lopez, love Ellie. I'm probably spending up at shortstop, apparently.
Another guy I didn't mention. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Lindor.
Right. Lindor does have some BVP.
Great Lindor has, some nice history.
Yeah. In the outfield, man, so many guys. Like Spencer Steer's my top outfield bat tonight. Heriberto Hernandez, OPS approaching 1,700 over the last week. In crushes left-handed pitching, power-wise. You mentioned Seiya. Jordan Walker probably makes sense against Chris Sale. Nobody's going to play him, and he's swinging it really well. So, plus Sale hasn't exactly been super sharp the last couple times out. So, why not sprinkle in some Jordan Walker at what is his ownership?
Probably next to nothing.
Is he not? Oh, I just can't type. That's what it is. Yes. 0.5%.
0.5%, yeah.
So give me that. Ownership percent pretty spread out on any individual players. Gunner's pretty popular. So is Bobby Witt. So, like, most people are going to probably play shortstop in that game. You just get different by playing Otto Lopez at 1% owned for 5.1K. It just blows my mind, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's kind of all we have. You want to give some dongs. Sniper's lost. You want to give him directions to your house?
Yes. Sniper had an elite beard last night, I say, on the MMA show.
An elite one.
But let's see. Home run calls. Sal Stewart. Colson Montgomery. I'm trying not to pick two guys on the same team. Freddie Freeman, I think, gets a home run tonight. Let's see. Long shots. My main man, Heliot. And this is a Christian Walker. But I think I have a Sal Stewart, Colson Montgomery, Freddie Freeman parlay. But I think you could go Sal Stewart, Blade, Steer, Tyler Stevenson. I think all those guys are live for a home run.
I'm not as interested in Blade in the left on left. He's kind of cooled down quite a bit. But, yeah, Steer, Stewart, Stevenson, Ellie, Suarez,
Marte.
all those guys, like, they make sense to me from a dinger call standpoint. I just put my dinger in on the website. I matched somebody else because both my two choices were taken, so I'm going to go with the guy that I like the most out of the two. Somebody else took Spencer Steer. Somebody took Cody Clemens. I'm going with Spencer Steer because
I rolled with Colson for my – and hopefully he don't – his numbers keep dropping, but hopefully he stays above 300 before the game starts. Sniper, is Conor McGregor going to win?
No, who would take Clemens? Yeah, it's Drago. I should take Clemens too since it was Drago that did it.
I would. Drago's been stuck with 19 since
I know, but he's behind me. He's behind me. The guy that took Steer is ahead of me. But, we're only halfway into the season. I'm fine, whatever. Just going to take who I feel the best going with. I guess I could pivot to Matt Olson again, who got me one yesterday. But I need more updates on the weather in that game before I commit to a Matt Olson play there.
You can always swap to Sal Stewart.
It's true. I could. Barely. Like, he's at 305 right now. I got Matt Olson at 310 yesterday on DK. He was at like 280 something on FanDuel. But before the season, I did specify that DK was the main number. So thankfully, I was able to use Matt Olson at plus 310 yesterday and get a home run in the first inning.
I was going to, just while we're sitting here, what site I use a lot and, look at their projections and sims. Before the pod started, they had, they'll give you what their odds are versus the best odds you can find on the books. And Colson Montgomery was the top. But now it is switched to like Sal Stewart, and they have him at plus 266. And then it shows the best being 320, but I guess you said it was 305 on DK or something.
That's what our feed is bringing in right now. Because it shows in the DS next to. The 320 would be best for you, so it might be somewhere else.
Yeah.
I showed 305 on DK. I don't know how often the home run odds feed refreshes.
Yeah.
If it's the same as our ownership projection refresh or not, but there's only two guys right now, by the looks of it, that are sub 300 tonight, as of right now.
Yes.
So, and the first one is Jock Peterson. Like, he has the lowest odds to hit him tonight. Interesting. But, yeah, that'll do it for us this evening. We're back on Monday at some point. If you are members of DFS Army, hit us up in Discord or just take Drago with every question that you have.
Yeah, I would tag.
No matter time of day, because he's always around, so whatever. If you're not a member, scrolling on the bottom of the screen is our best promo code that we have available right now. code BESTBALL2026 gets you 20% off your DFS Army membership for NFL or like the VIP or Core 4. The Core 4 does include baseball. If you want to join us for just baseball only, code RAZ or Tattoo gets you 10% off monthly. There's a link in the description below that you can hit with those promo codes to join us, get access to the Discord and everything we have going on. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Drago might get it right. He's pretty good at guessing. But yeah, that's all we got. Gamer.
Baked spaghetti calling my name.
I have get my lineups done and go help somebody move a couch calling up. So
I'll take the
I'm not excited about that because that means I'm going to be on back issues for the next week. But oh well, I guess. Yeah. Good luck tonight, everybody. 12-game slate. Pay attention to the Atlanta-St. Louis game weather updates whenever they pop. Hit us up in Discord. I'll give you my final thoughts on if I'm using Chris Sale or not. Best of luck, and we'll see you on Monday.
Got the best coaches in the game. We really ain't playing. We regroup up in the Slack chat where the coaches debrief. We be piecing these puzzles, occupy the chunk of the pie. Ain't no lie when we hit the block. Helmets, casket is top. You be seeing helmet after helmet, helmet after helmet. First place, second place, fifth place, eighth place, 12th place, 15, 16, 20. So many helmets, you got blurred vision. We got too many. Tick your tech. Oh man, shit. They got us fucked up. Army, regroup. We pledge always to have that edge. We don't fire warning shots. Competition just dropped. We locked and loaded before lock. Whatever the time, yeah. Do you even correlate?
Being the best requires a willingness to outwork your competition. There's always someone smarter, faster, sharper, more naturally gifted.